Welcome to the Inside View. I'm Ralph Renzulli, your host. As always, I thank you for watching. My guest today is Mayor Kaufman. She's here for an update. I believe the last one we did was in October, so she's back for another one. Mayor, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's great to see you again.
Yeah, great.
A little bit cold out there. We're waiting for spring. Any day now it's going to show up.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to golf.
Yeah.
Although Mohawk Valley opened yesterday.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Well, pretty day.
I didn't get there, but pretty soon we'll get there.
Yeah. Now that the grass is not so fast.
Yeah, exactly.
With frost on it.
I'm going to start off with a little bit of a pop quiz.
Okay.
You've been in office for 2 years. What do you think is the best thing that happened in those 2 years?
Definitely getting the deficit financing done for the city, because it gave us a starting place, and it without it, we were sinking. Now we're stabilizing and going forward. So that, of all the things that it did in the last almost 2.5 years now, that would be it.
Okay.
It was substantial, and I don't know. I don't think that would have been on top of the mind of many. And when I discovered it was a possibility, I kept driving toward it, and it took the better part of, it took all of 24 and part of 25 to get it done.
So the fact that you know what you have to pay over time to bring that balance down that's an advantage for the city?
It is. So we were total all funds 3.4 in the whole. Okay, so 2.8 in the general fund, which was the bigger one. But water had 660,000, and we also had the Gulf that had a deficit to their fund. So it cleared the deck. It actually deleted or liquidated all of those imbalances. So it wasn't any money that would come in wouldn't be sinking to the bottom each time.
Okay.
So we came up to zero, and now we're able to move forward, and everything that we're doing, the revenue generation things that we're doing now, really make an impact. We're stable. We've still got some vulnerability, but we would never have had this had we not gone that step.
Okay.
So we'll be. They'll certify that in July, August timeframe, and then we'll go out for a bond for 10 years in November.
That's the best thing. What's the worst thing?
Oh, the worst thing is, coming in, I guess I was 2 months in and finding out we had a $2.8 million deficit, and we hadn't paid the pension for 2 years, and what to do. It was a race from, the clock, actually. You knew how to fix things, but do you have enough time to fix them? And that was the panic of 24. So 24 was really tough. And we had to hang on when I was told by one department in the state that, well, you don't fit any of our programs, you're too far gone for that. So it's probably that day in particular where your heart just sank, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do next now?
Yeah.
Here I am. This is my watch.
Big gut punch.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the composition of the current Common Council.
Okay.
Obviously, last November, there was a tie in Ward 1.
Yes.
So we ended up with just one council person from that ward. And I realized that you attempted to appoint someone, but that didn't work.
Correct.
So what are the next steps, and how are you going to fix this problem?
Well, it's a challenge because the tied election was a failed election. That's how the state looks at it. So no one was elected. Same thing with the treasurer. We didn't get the referendum to appoint a treasurer. So the person who was running did not decide to move to Little Falls, which prevents her from taking office. So we had 2 failed elections starting out the beginning of the year. And at the attorneys that represent the city and also the election board, 2 attorneys there, reviewed what action should be taken and looked at the charter and decided that the trigger of the failed election and not having someone to start in January was at the time the election was certified, not at the end of the term. And that difference was a contentious debate between one of the councilmen and the city. And the attorneys weighed in our favor, go ahead and appoint. And so I did, and he did not like the appointment. And there's a couple of newbies that kind of followed his direction, and so they went along with him. I have been looking to get someone, and I've talked to probably maybe 30 people to run for Ward 1, and no one wants to run for Ward 1.
You mean in November?
In November, but I'd appoint them right now to help out to the end of the year. When you have a short board where we have only 7, you have to have 5 people in order to, carry a vote. And in the election or the appointment that I was proposing, we had a 4-3 vote. And in Roger's rules and, everything else, every other committee, Robert's rules rather, every other committee, the people that are in attendance, you take the majority of those in attendance who voted. But in municipal law in New York State, you have to take the majority of the board count. So if the board requires 8 people, which council does, you have to have 5 to carry a vote.
Even though you're short one.
Yes, they don't.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So you said you talked to 30 people. Mm-hmm. Did they give any reason why they didn't want to run?
Part of it is our divisive environment right now, and a lot of social media hatred that is part of the game, but nobody wants to put themselves out to that. And I think that also the no vote from the 3 members of the board that were on the opposing side as far as whether I had the authority to vote or not, or appoint, swayed them to think that, well, gosh, if they vote down someone as good as this lady with her background and what she's done for the community for so many years, what will they do to me? They didn't want to stick their neck out.
Interesting. So in November, let's say nobody runs, but there's a write-in. That person would. Otherwise, if nobody runs and there's no write-in, mm-hmm. or if that person who is written in doesn't want the job, you're right back where you started.
Yes. Yes.
I'm surprised that at least one person didn't step forward and say, yeah, I'll try it for a few months, and then in November I'll make my mind up whether or not I want to do this.
The one person I was promoting to take the seat was for appointment. So she would have handled it through the end of the year. And she decided after that reaction from the councilman that she didn't want to run. So got a little bit of an issue that we're dealing with, and it's just one of those things that happens with boards, the mix of people. And so hopefully going forward, it'll be a different story, but that's what we're working with.
I've always felt, and I think I've told you this before, that we really don't need 8 aldermen, alderpersons, I should say. I always felt that one from each ward plus an at-large position would be plenty for the population that we have now.
Yeah, it's been tried before, and it went out for a referendum, I think in perhaps Bob Peters' time, mm-hmm. And it was voted down. So it's one of those things that is in our charter, and the only way to make that change is for taking it to an election, a vote. Right. Yeah, and so I think with 2 people working in a ward, you get a strong perspective from multiple opinions, right, where you wouldn't maybe have that.
That's true.
Our wards tend to be good size, but yeah, for the size of a community that we are, most people are surprised that we have 8 members on our council.
Well, there's only 1,000 people, on average in each ward.
Yeah.
So give or take. Anyway, okay, thanks for that. Moving on. You took the bold step this year to institute a garbage collection charge, mm-hmm. $240 per unit. And I think there's 2,000 units?
Right now, it's somewhere around 1,900 to 2,000 that we're looking at. And that's part of it was the cost involved. And tipping fees have gone way up just to give you an example, I pulled some numbers this morning. The residential, we spend on residential trash pickup $820,000 a year. And that is, with the tipping fees, we're bringing to the tipping station, which essentially means where you take the garbage to get rid of it. We used to burn it, remember, in the incinerator and all that? We don't do that anymore. We take it up to Utica, and that's where the tipping station is. But we took 1,684 tons up there. And for every ton, it's $487 to drop off a ton. And that's pretty much a Dempsey dumpster size would carry that. So from a household basis, when you're looking at, say, 1,900 people, there's more. We have a lot of these houses that have 6, 8, 9 different tenants, and they typically haven't been paying. Only the taxpayers have been paying. With the usage fee that we're doing right now, everyone who is a resident and who has garbage that they put out has to pay the $20 a month. And so it's approximately $432 per resident is the cost to pick up their trash. So the $240 is helping to compensate. So the tax money is going in for a portion of it, and then the rest, the $242, is being paid on usage.
When I looked at the budget, it showed budgeted revenue for 26, $488,000. That's the surcharge. That's the fee for you to pick up our garbage. But the expenses were $442. That doesn't add up to what you just said. That was in the budget.
Well, these are assumptions. It includes the staffing as well as the tipping fees and whatnot. But this is the cost to provide the refuge service is estimated at $820,000.
So that fee is not covering all of the. It's only covering half of it.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't see that anywhere in the budget. That's interesting. I'll have to look at that again.
Yeah, the dollar amount, when you look at the budget, you have to look at the DPW line items for the personnel and all that. But there's so many different activities that they do from DPW. Trash is one of them. So it's a combined.
All right, so there's more than one line in there for this then.
Right. Okay, so you're taking, and then city insurance, the DPW trucks, the administration, the fleet. He pulled all of the different labor and operating, any kind of union dues, any kind of all of the benefits. The benefits packages are really high on anyone that's in a union.
I thought the people that were picking up the garbage were part-timers.
Some are, but a lot of them are full-time.
Are they?
Yeah.
Right. I would assume part-timers don't get the benefits.
Right. But most of them, I don't know that we have hardly any, maybe a couple of part-timers. Okay. These are full-time people who have made a career of it. Most of them have been there. They might pick a garbage for 7-8 years. In fact, our crew chief, Chris Young, worked on garbage for 8 years before he was promoted. So everybody, John Sullivan started this years back, where everybody, no matter who they are, that comes into DPW, even if they're a CDL driver, they start on garbage. And everybody earns their stripes on garbage and works up to the next level. So
tough way to earn stripes.
It is.
I see those guys out there on rainy days and cold days and snowy days.
It's a tough job.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. At any rate, and when I was looking at this and thinking about this question I was going to ask you, I thought to myself, I can't believe the city's been paying this much money all this time without a fee. How did we do that? How did the city I mean, it's just incredible expense of this.
It is. And no other municipality that we could find is doing it for free. They're farming it out to a third-party provider, which is really expensive, to the resident. But no one, when they hear that our garbage was free, they're just floored. They can't believe that the city can do that. Back when tax dollars paid the full amount of the budget, there was no worry. Right? We had the money to do it. We had more people living here, and we don't now. We have a smaller bucket, and the costs continue to go up. And so we've had to go to this sort of thing. But for $20, I pulled numbers before, and the closest was $69, I believe, a month for garbage. All others went from 70. One was 107 a month for picking up garbage. Just depends on who you go with. So we felt that rather than getting rid of our garbage service, which was first reaction when you're looking at a budget and you can't afford it, you're going to lay people off. If you lay people off, you're going to lose the service. There's no way around it. What can we do instead of that? And so that's when I came up with the garbage, the trash pickup fee at $20 made a huge difference because now it works. We only take from the taxpayers or residents what we absolutely need, nothing more. But we have, when you're looking at right now, our taxes, when we get them, and we're coming up on April, May, we'll start getting those in. About $4 million. Our total cost to run all funds, everything that we've got going on, 11.6. So there's a whole lot that doesn't come in from taxpayer dollars of services.
50% of the properties aren't taxable, right? Pretty close to it.
It's high.
It's a huge hit.
Yeah. So there's a lot that we have to find elsewhere as far as non-taxable revenue that can come in. And I've been really working on, and this year in 26 is key to that. We're looking at a bed tax that will go into effect. Hopefully we can get that through the legislators and at the state. We've got the EMS that was big item to get that launched. The revenue side of EMS is, of course, transfers and facility-to-facility transfers, and we've been doing very little. Last reports were around 20 a year, and we should be, just to give you an idea of Little Falls Hospital and their demand for transfers, on a monthly basis, it's between 70 to 100 transfers every month. Well, we should be up at 800 to 1,200 transfers a year, not 20. Our transfers have been, last report that I got, 2 for February and 6 for January for the month. And so we're ramping that up. We've got a new ambulance. We're hiring a team of a paramedic and EMT and one floater that'll be part-time. And we're going to get that up and running and get working on that. We put $350,000 in the budget for that. Our budget we've been making from EMS is about 200 or less.
172.
Yeah, it's dismal. And you know what they're budgeting in Ilion and everywhere else? $850,000 to $1 million a year. Total budget on EMS, not just transfers, but the total budget.
So last year, for the budget in 25, you had $300,000 in the budget, and you took in 172. Did you dive into that and figure out why was the projection so far off?
The projection had been pretty much the same the year before. We've been 3 years in a row missing budget on revenue. Not because it doesn't exist out there, it's because we've had a reluctant fire department to take transfers. And part of it is finding enough paramedics that are also firefighters. And
how could they be reluctant? They report to you.
Well, they also are in a union and have a union contract that dictates exactly what they will do and what they won't do. And EMS is one of those things. Since EMS started out with Eric Laux, and I'm trying to think who else was back then. In 1975, it didn't exist before that. It started with the city as an independent department, separate from fire. Firefighters, they were the first ones, maybe 2 or 3 of them, that got their paramedic certification and started really working on it. And in years back, there was a team of paramedics, they had quite a few, that embraced it, loved work, and went forward. Since I've been in, there has been the feeling that firefighters like to fight fires. That's what they get into firefighting for. And EMS is one of those tough jobs. It's not suited for everyone, except we do insist that they they get their EMT, so the lower level. But finding paramedics or people who want to go through the paramedic program, it's a lengthy program. It's like 18 months, I think, is the first stage of it. There's a lot of interning. There's a lot of work that they do to get through that. It's really tough on them. So when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, what do? It's a brick wall, you go around the brick wall, right? And so what I am doing, I can find paramedics and EMTs that are not firefighters out there to pick up and work revenue side of EMS, and that's what I'm doing.
So that's how you were able to go to $350,000 for projected revenue versus the $300 from last year.
Yes, exactly.
So you expect that these services to really pick up in a big way then?
Yes, we should be making, and talking to other paramedics out there that are working for competitors, looking at what we have and that we're the CON for this area. We're leaving money on the table. We're letting others come pick it up. We have the authority for this geographic area, and we've never been really working it. And they say we should be making $850,000 a year, and what we've been doing is dismal.
Yeah. According to the budget, you're going to bring in about 121.
Which budget? $121,000.
$121,000, because the expenses. If the budget's, if I'm looking at the right thing here, you've got $350,000 budgeted for revenue, and you've got expenses of $228,862 in the budget for ambulance. Those are the ambulance lines.
Yeah. Well, what we're doing too, we're looking at the ambulance lines, and a lot of firefighter activities were put into the ambulance lines, and so we're cleaning that up. But we should be making anywhere from the $350. When you're billing something, you're really looking at a couple of different problems. One of the problems has been that we haven't had a billing company that did any better than 40-50% of billables, so collecting. So that we've got a new billing company now that usually picks up within the first 60 days 75%. And they actually capture, in many cases, 90% of what they bill. Big difference. So we were kind of didn't realize it until we looked at that company, and the uncollectibles were over $1 million. That they, just a different kind of company, a sleepy little company.
That's just leaving an enormous amount of money on the table.
Right, and so that's not factored into the budget. We have to have known dollars in the budget as far as additional revenue. So we're getting additional revenue from that, as well as from adding the transfer unit. Okay. So I think that the budget is a conservative look. I think we're going to exceed that.
There was another line under ambulance called EMT bonus, $48,600. What is that?
That is a firefighter's union contractual obligation for the fire department, not the EMS department. But it was put in the EMS department. So when the fire department, the fire union, they do their negotiations, that was a perk to get more people to get their EMT or to have their paramedic. And so they did this some time ago, and it's a bonus at the end of the year just for having those credentials. They had extra money. They also get paid extra, but in the new unit, we expect people to they come in with their paramedic or they come in with their EMT, and we don't pay them extra just for having those classifications. So there's things like that that'll be aligned more accurately. So anything to do with the firefighter's budget comes out of the firefighter's budget.
Okay. Let's move on to sale of property. Last year you had in the budget $350,000 for sale of property.
Right.
But you didn't have any revenue.
Yeah, everything took longer than we thought to get the word out, get things rolling. We didn't really start with that until later in the year. I think that was September that we signed the agreement to be able to go out and secure a real estate agent to help us with that.
But this year you have 132,000 in there. So you've gone from 350,000 down to 132, but you didn't sell anything. So explain that difference.
There was 150,000 in there that was it was in that category that was going to come from Feldmeyer having an interest in the ground lease for the Vets Park. That did not materialize. So the rest
that was part of the 350.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
But that's not sale of property. That's a lease.
Well, it's a lease. It's a lease. Okay. Long-term lease, 50 years. So that's where they put it.
A little ambiguous, but that's okay.
Yeah,
budgets can be sometimes.
We're getting better at that. You know, everything was in large buckets, a lot of different detail. Now we're drilling down to more granular detail, so we have a better gauge at what's going on. And during the winter months, we took the properties off the market and we just put them back on yesterday. You can't sell raw land with snowbanks everywhere, and realtors have to pull up their signs, and so it's just it's one of those things. So we do have the signs back out as of yesterday, so it's good.
There was also an issue about the way you hired a realtor to do this. Has that been rectified, or give me an update on that?
Well, that was, when I looked at that internally, we have two laws that we go by when we're procuring services. One is the state, and the other is our internal local law that is procurement. So they look at both of them. The threshold is if it's under 20,000, you don't have to go out for competitive bid. Okay, when you're looking at buying coffee cups, right? You're looking for the lowest bid on whatever it happens to be, whatever the specs are. When you're looking at an individual, accountant, an attorney, someone who has a license to do something and has been certified by the state to do that. You pick personality, you pick their track record, their history, all of that, and that goes into the equation. The state and our city procurement policies allow for the mayor or whomever, the engineer, to secure talent that is professional level without going out because you're for any kind of bid process. So it's done totally by the books. It was done. Attorneys looked at it afterward, and our city attorney came to the same conclusion as everyone else that I was in the right to secure just exactly how I did it. The person who was looking at this was looking at an ordinance from the codes book that didn't relate to the charter. Our charter gives me specific authority to be able to do it that way. So there's nothing there.
Okay.
There's still the passion from the person who brought it to the attention of everyone to continue to go on indefinitely, but there's nothing. There's no illegal thing that was done. In fact, we hired a surveyor the other day the same exact way that I hired a real estate agent, which the criteria is that they have to be licensed by the state and they have to have additional training.
Did you explain that to Robin?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. She was okay with that?
Well, I don't think she's okay with anything for whatever reason, but I've explained it multiple times in writing, well, she never came in person but on phone calls and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, she has a right to express her opinion.
You mentioned Vets Park earlier. I know you and I had a previous conversation about this, and you told me that you were going to cut expenses at Vets Park. Mm-hmm. But yet when I look at the budget, the expenses are higher for 26 than they were in 25. What's going on with that?
I'm not sure what you're looking at exactly because we did cut a lot of the expenses for Vets Park. I don't know
Well,
I'd have to look at the budget to see what
I have it
line.
here if you want to see it, but the number I pulled was projected expenses for 2026 are 56,840, up from 38,113. That's what's in the budget. And I thought, why would that be if you were?
I don't know. I'd have to.
Because I think you said you were going to do minimum maintenance.
And we are. So I don't know why that would be that way. I'd have to check with go through the line items of what they put in there for that. And it could be personnel, because what we were doing is the state, and we have, since deficit financing, we have an audit at every quarter, right, the end of every quarter. And we were generalizing anybody who worked at Vets Park, we would just put in DPW, all of their insurance, whatever it happened to be, their benefits and their payroll. We can't do that. We have to have it in the department or the location that it goes to. And so some of those were inflated this year because of that. So DPW budget would have gone down, but that might have gone up because
it's still
of that
losing
reason.
money.
Yes, but what we're doing this year, it's not, we are just cutting the grass. We have 2 contracts that we've been working with, the Diamond Dogs and the school, and those are contracts, and they've been more than generous with us this year to pay for things that normally we would provide, and that's like chalking, that's like, quick dry, the different things that they use. All of the other fields are not going to be using the Diamond Dog field or the teams unless they want to pay the $250 a day fee. There's a lot of expense in keeping Diamond Dogs up to the collegiate level that it needs to be. The kids are going to be playing at the backfields at no charge, no permit fee this year, but they will just get the grass mowed, and their job is to handle any chalking that they want to do and all of that, because the labor is really where the cost was coming in. So we have, I guess, certainly Nick Edick is there and working on it during Diamond Dog season, full-time pretty much. But we cut staff as far as what's assigned to the Vets Park. So the numbers should be dramatically different than last year.
I think the line item for expense for revenue rather, was $26,000.
Yeah.
And that's a combination of the school and the Diamond Dogs?
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they pay.
That's all they pay. And the thing of it is, it's not so out of line. It's pretty comparable with what they would pay in any other field. But we just don't have enough, larger contracts like that. And the backfields, all the Babe Ruth, the Diamond Dog, or the Babe Ruth, the Little League, Pop Warner, have never paid anything. And when I tried to get that changed where they're paying at least $25 a month for the service, that didn't go over well. So this is a little bit different bite at the apple, and we'll see. But there's no big money to be had there for the city. It's one of those great parks. We love it. We want to keep everybody there and enjoying it. But it's old and it's in need of a lot of repairs. And lighting is, one of the biggest ones we have. So we'll see where we go.
But minimal maintenance will keep it in good shape, though, right?
It'll keep it so everybody can play on it. But when you talk about minimal, do you mean the lights? That's
no, I'm not talking about the lights so much. The field
because
itself.
For a collegiate team, they've got to have a certain amount of lighting to have night games. Yeah. But yes, I mean, as far as bathrooms and all of that, but you look at the benches, you look at the dugout floods in the rain, that needs to be fixed. You've got benches that are ancient, old, and falling apart. And so they do patch jobs here and there. It really needs an infusion of cash and somebody who could take it back to the days of the Mets when they had a lot of money coming into it, a lot of sponsorship.
Why did Phil Meyer back out?
I think they had a lot of projects going that they wanted just to pump the brakes for a minute. I don't know if they'll do it in the future.
Nobody else is interested.
Not at this point. I mean, we've had developers look at it as more of a larger complex, and I think that I would love to see there's quite a bit of area, land behind it that was part of a grant to the city, and it was designated as a park, but we could really build that out in a nice way as a sports and events area.
Yeah, it's been such a beautiful complex for years now, and I hate to see it deteriorate.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take investment money to help out, because it's one of those things when you're looking at, do I keep DPW going? Do I keep fire? Do I keep EMS? Or do I keep the pool and the vets park, right? And so they're at the lower end of the totem pole.
Yeah, I get that. It's just that I think back to my youth when I played on that field before they renovated it, and it's such an incredible difference now. But I get it. Financially, I understand.
People come from all over that have played there in the 60s and come back to it and say they absolutely love it. In fact, we had the Blue Sox, I think it was last year, that came back to play a game there. And they said it looks exactly like it did when we were there. And so many of the fields have, over the years, just declined, or there's a lot of industrial things building up around them. And you still have the beautiful views from that park. So it's gorgeous. We need to keep it, and I'm always looking for ideas and opportunities to get it in shape. You know, we need concession stands, we need bathrooms updated. It really needs a lot of sprucing up. So this year, you know, we'll work with paint, we'll work with
do the best you can,
clean and cleaning things and do what we can.
In looking at the budget, obviously, you know, I've been looking at the budget quite a bit lately, prep for this interview, but one of the things that also jumped out at me was an auditor's expense. It's gone from $30,000 up to $90,000. Mm-hmm. Can you explain why that is?
Well, it's not the auditors. This year, we thought we were going to. There's two different outside groups that work on our books in addition to our treasurer. Our treasurer will pull the books up to a certain level. Third party. Bonadio is who we work with for an outside accounting firm. And they will pull the books together to the level of the AFR. And so it's the end of the year financial report. Now that we're in deficit financing, we have to have our books audited every year. And that's anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000. So we didn't have that in 25 and we didn't have that in 24. But we are starting this year. We will. We were told to budget for $40,000. It looks like the contract that I just received was $30,000. So I'm happy that it wasn't as high as it could have been.
So the state's got a much stronger eye on us now than they used to because of the financing.
Oh yeah.
Because we owe them money.
Well, we won't owe the state money. That'll be bonded, so it would be, you know.
Right.
You know, so, but the state is hovering because this program is only allocated to people who've gone through the legislature, and well, this is a bill that goes through. It's a very serious deal, and they take it very seriously at the comptroller's office. So there is monitoring. We're not to the point where they've come in and said we need to sign off on everything you do. Every check that goes out of here, we're going to sign. We're not there. Fortunately, we stopped the bleed soon enough so that if we're going after financing or anything like that, we have to send it to them 15 days prior so they have the ability to look over what we're up to. So it's more of hovering and checking to make sure that everything is aligned and going in the right direction. And it's not only the OSC. We have senators, we have assemblymen. There are a lot of people involved who get a copy of our quarterly report. So it goes out to a lot of different places. Lots of eyes on our budget.
I guess that's a good thing.
I think so.
Having another pair of eyes.
I think so, because there's so much going on all the time, you can miss something. And there's nothing nefarious going on, but we can make mistakes. And I was looking at something the other day, and I thought, oh, that's not right at all. And so we fix it, we see it, we correct it. But it had gone through all those eyes, and I'm looking at it and saying, that shouldn't have. We're off a little bit there, but budgets are judgment calls too. You have to project what you expect the cost to be, what you expect the revenue to be, and best guess, you're looking at a year's projection, which usually you can do pretty readily compared to a business plan or anything else where you're looking at 3 to 5 years. You can get more accurate with 1 year. But for us, a lot of these revenue streams are brand new. We've never done it before. And that's the thing. If I look back over the years, no administration was poking their head up and looking at, we're losing taxpayer dollars because we're losing population, and what are we going to do about this? They just took the hit, kept cutting. By the time I got in, there was nowhere to cut. We had to look for revenue sources that were different than tax. And that's what we've done. We've got the bed and breakfast that we hope to get in. We've got the trash pickup. We've got the EMS. All of those areas, nobody was really paying attention to. And so that'll help going forward. These are things that will help balance the budget so we can lay off the taxpayers for a change instead of going 100% for everything we need to taxpayers. You can imagine, what would the tax rate be? We get $34,000 for every percent we go up, and we need $11.6 million.
Yeah, it's a big nut to crack.
So when we're projecting out what the next year is going to be like, we're still in the infant stage of testing the waters on some of these things. The property, the small properties that we're trying to sell, some are dogs and nobody wants them, and others are great and they're moving along. We've got about 4 right now that are underway with at least contract out. So the other thing too, in the fourth quarter, everything has to, here I'm so used to going to a title company in Texas and you get it done in 10 days. Here you have attorneys involved and it has to fit in their schedule. Mm-hmm. And so you could wait several months to get something accomplished.
All right, moving on. We have a new manager at the golf course. And
we do.
Got a new fleet of carts, and that's all good.
Yes.
So how do you feel about that?
I'm really excited. Every time I hear something new about what he's doing, I'm shocked and so excited. He's running it as a business. He's been there. They've been painting it. They've been putting in, fryers so that they can have, chicken wings. They're looking at a new kitchen of sorts, a new oven or whatever it is. He's got all new golf carts, and they're gorgeous. Everything is looking really good for an opening. Usually they try to open, I think, April 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So whole new, fresh perspective, drinks and, different, food options.
Full bar, right?
Yes.
That's
and
different.
So he's and he actually put in for a year license. So we talked about that. I don't know whether he'll do that this year or not, but where it would be open, for different events and, the bar during the winter months for people to come out and just enjoy food and watch the game or whatever it happens to be. So a beautiful setting. So he's got the right ideas in mind, and even looking at, why not have cart girls, as in the summer, the heat, where you can get a beverage, while you're playing, certainly for the tournaments and things like that. I think that's a great idea. But someone coming with a plan, and he's looking at this as his retirement, and he's got a couple of more years, I think, working, and he's hired someone to manage it in the meantime for him. So it's a business.
Well, Rob's a local guy.
He is.
So and
everybody knows him. I mean, I asked him, what is his name, and everybody said Orby. And
another Little Falls nickname, I guess.
Yes, it is. But he is such a likable guy too. I think people, like to be around somebody who's happy and is enjoying what they're doing.
I was a little surprised in looking at the budget again that you've got it at break even. Expenses, or you got revenue at 137, 261, I think it was, and expenses at exact same number. Isn't that a little odd?
We've had to take this is one of the things that I noticed on the other day, the prorating of one of the personnel that's there. So what happens is instead of taking their whole salary out of DPW and all of their benefits, we had to allocate the prorated amount during the 6 months that the golf course would be open. 5-6 months. And so they ended up putting the whole amount over the golf course. So I think that's an adjustment we're going to be making in the budget.
So anybody working at the golf course, their expenses are no longer charged to DPW. They're charged to the golf course it's a separate profit center.
It is. Yeah. And so, and we weren't doing that. We were just charging everything essentially to either DPW, or we were throwing the whole salary over there for the year, and they were working half year. And
I think it's more transparent this way. It's more accurate.
I think so. And this is one of the things OSC was really challenging us to do, is to look at all of these and make sure we're not just throwing them all in the general fund, or that they were going to the appropriate fund and line item.
There was something else in there called other revenue, $10,000. What is that?
I'm not sure about that one. The other revenue would be perhaps different events that are held there. The city splits the event fee with, the manager. And so there would be some money there. City green fees and all of that, I think we're in that line item, if I recall. That there is a special line item for that. But there's more and more events and people that want to have things out there. And I think that's good. So that would be a revenue source. Outside of that, I'm not sure what else would be revenue.
Okay. How long is this contract for? Rob's contract?
I think we were looking at 3 years in that contract. I do so many contracts, but I think that's a 3-year.
And you were able to get an increase in fee charge for running the clubhouse over and above what you had before, correct?
Well, we had, we had less than $1,000 for the whole season. Now we're, making, I think it's $1,000, $1,200 if I'm not mistaken, and then it gradually increases to $1,500. So it's a good amount if I have the numbers correct. I believe I do, but it's a 3-year plan, and I think that it's going to work nicely for us. So he's essentially renting the facility, and the previous manager wanted to have it for free. And the taxpayers subsidize the whole thing. We can't do that, obviously.
And the city doesn't get a cut on any of the food or the beverages that are sold, right? That's all.
No, that's the concession. We call that the concession.
Right.
That goes to the manager.
That's what I thought. Did you decide to add a point-of-sale system up there or not? I know we talked about this before.
Now this was Orby's.
He's doing it?
He's doing it.
Okay.
He's, he brought that to our attention. It needs to happen. And there are 1,000 things. Every day I'm hearing something else that he's doing that is such positive and forward thinking. Again, a business person. And that's what we've needed over the years.
So you'll be able to know exactly what fees you're collecting up there for greens fees.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And there won't be any, don't worry about the greens fees, just pay the cart kind of thing.
Okay.
There's two, with golf courses, you always have to be monitoring where the money goes, because it's usually a cash business. And so, that's why the auditors always look at golf courses over and over again to see if there's any theft or anything going on. I think we've been fortunate. We haven't had anything that we've been able to identify. But when you look at the years of having the golf course, I'm sure we've missed something because it's just the nature of the beast. But with a POS system and all of that, I mean, we've got new things that we're doing too with regard to the gas out there. And gassing up the carts and how we do that and how we monitor it. So a lot of good protections.
Great. So, city pool. You're not going to fund it this year. And I know there's a fundraiser out there right now, and I think they've raised about half of the money that they're...
Yeah, they're right at 47%. It's a race for the clock again. We have to start hiring lifeguards in April. or we won't get them. We need, I think, 12 to 14 lifeguards. And that's by regulation. So it's not like, you can say, well, we'll just hire 6 this year. No, it's regulated by the state. So we'll see how they're coming along. They're doing great with their fundraiser. We will see. But if we're down this year and we don't hit the mark, then we'll do our planned renovations that we were going to do anyway. We're going to have to be shut down either 25 or 26 or 27 to repair some things. And we've been working on some grants internally at the city for capital improvements, meaning a new filter, some piping that needs to be replaced. We've got leaks all over the place where they put cement over the top of the pipes when they did it the last time, and we can't even access the pipes to fill the leaks. A lot of issues. But we have the Herkimer County legislature, they gave us, I think around 8,000, maybe 10, a couple of years back in 24, and we haven't had a chance to do those repairs, and that's, getting some of the painting done, the floor, the bathrooms, the tile work, the lockers, all of that area, new shower heads. And so there's enough for that for our guys to be able to do it. So regardless, they're going to start on that pretty quickly, and they'll just continue working that down on, whatever happens, whether we're able to open for, people to come and swim or not this year. There'll be a lot of activity.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were implying that even if the money is raised because of the repairs, the pool still would not open this year. But you're saying it probably will.
We'll do our best to open it this year and hovel it together. I've talked to the crew chief about this, and they can patch it together as best they can. But last year we had trouble. I mean, it shut down one point, I understand. The sand pushed out from the filter into the swimming pool. A lot of things, and it, every year the DOH comes in and inspects the filter, and if it's not a go, we can't open. And so we have people, too, that come and test the water 4 times a day. I mean, there's a lot to that, a lot of expense to that people don't realize. But we'll do our best, but if we can't get lifeguards, we can't open. And everybody else is looking at lifeguards, too. It's just not us.
What's the deadline to be able to do that?
I told them April 1st.
We're getting close.
We're getting close. They're working hard, so on it, and we'll see. But it's not going to go to waste because if we can't open because the timing didn't work out, I think they'll continue to raise the funds, and that'll mean next year we'll be able to do something.
I think you had 3 collective bargaining agreements that expired. 2025? Well,
there are 2 that are union, and then the clerical group is not a union. They bargain together.
All right, so you had 3 bargaining issues to take care of. So what happened with those?
CSEA is ready to sign. We're pretty much done with that, so we'll probably get that done this next week or the following. And fire is back on track, and so we expect that as of yesterday, I'm expecting that we will get back to working with their contract either next week or the week after again. So we're moving them along as quickly as we can now that we have a resolution worked out. So we'll see where it goes. But clerical is ready to go before the council to approve. CSEA, I'm hoping we can get it finished in time for the council meeting April 7th. So 2 of them should go before the council. Fire is almost done, but we may need a couple more weeks, so it may go to May.
What sort of pay raises are we looking at?
We're looking at 3%. So first year, 2.5%, second year, 3%, and 3.5% in the third year. All of them are 3-year contracts. This year, I didn't allow it to be freewheeling and whatever. We set the 3% in the budget and in December, and that's what we're going with across the board. There's nothing higher. Years prior, the last contract, there's 5%, 8%, 10%, crazy numbers. So everybody got the same.
Three is actually below inflation.
It is
pretty close.
It is, but they get a lot of perks in addition to that: longevity, buyback, vacation time, rollover sick leave, you name it. So they're not hurting.
I didn't suggest that they were. I just.
Yeah. But I mean, when we're flush and doing better, we'll look at seeing what we can do next year. We'll see, if some of these activities go in execute as they should, we should be in good shape next year and be able to do a whole lot more. But because we're solving the revenue problem, and that will go a long way into the future. You're always going to be concerned about it because of inflation and the cost of things, but we had a big gap to fill. So I think it's, everything takes longer than I would like. I'm used to working in startup companies and turnaround companies that are private sector companies, and you make a decision and you get rolling on it immediately. There's a lot of processes that we go through as a municipality. So, it's a slower slog initially getting it up and running, but we're getting it done.
Give me a quick update on the Adirondack Bank building and the Salata building.
Adirondack Bank building, we're moving along with, at this point, gathering materials, seeker materials, and specs and things like that for planning and zoning to take a look at. It will require a use variance because it's a C1. We updated our C1 zoning last year to accommodate 2 dwellings above for each floor. But this, of course, is going to be a higher density. So it will be looking for a waiver from ZBA to be able to do that. Good precedent with Ivy Gardens behind and then a Snyder building down the street. And both were high density.
Is the funding available for Adirondack?
We're working on it. They've got, Adirondack is going to, they have the architect, the contractor, the banks, everybody involved in it, all signed off on their end. We're waiting for DRI, the Downtown Revitalization Grant, to be able to, money to be reallocated from the returned grant award from Dairyman. So we're hoping to be able to get that. They actually need $5 million in funds to come from grants versus some of their private investors.
We know how slow the state can be, so I hope they can get moving on this because it's such an eyesore, especially during festivals.
Yeah, we've had some issues where it's crumbling in lower areas also over the past couple of months, and so it's very frustrating. We've done as much as we can. It has become a legal issue. We've, Codes has been on it, that's for sure. And so we're waiting for the new ownership to take place, and I think life will be good again.
So the new owners have not taken possession yet, legally?
No, they have an LOI based on getting the funding.
So if they don't get the funding, obviously we're back to square one.
True.
Okay. That's not good, but I hope it works out. Salata?
Well, working on it.
Tell me about Salata, the bridge, that whole deal.
Oh, a bridge has been something for years and years, and the state decided to go with a different methodology of rating a bridge. And they gave us a warning a couple of months ago that they were going to do that. And we were engaged in conversation about selling the bridge to the owner of Redco. And lo and behold, a couple of weeks ago, the state came in and shut everything down, shut the bridge down. 10 o'clock in the morning, get a call. By 1 o'clock, it had to be shut down because it would no longer perform under the new rating. we didn't go out for engineers to come in and to work through the rating because we were selling it. So the day before this happened, it was rated at 22 tons. The day that it happened, and they decided that this was the deadline, which there was never a deadline posted anywhere in anything. It was just that we're doing this, and you must you do this essentially immediately or as soon as you can get to it. So it was shut down. And we had to barricade it and have everybody bring their vehicles out to the other side. And, there's a Dempsey dumpster that's filled with things that can't be emptied until we get this done. So it expedited everything that we're doing as far as the sale of the bridge, and we're waiting for the surveyor to finish his survey. I'm hopeful that we'll have it any day now, and then we can go ahead and close. So it will become private property, as it should. When we had the bridge that was on the back side of the island that went over to Second Street, it was Second Street, no, Southern Avenue, that made sense because you had a means of the public going through there and then coming out the other side. But that was gone, I don't know, 50 years ago.
Long time
30
ago.
years ago.
I remember
don't know.
it's
been gone for a long, long time. Yeah. So it's private access to a private building. So the public can cross there, but they can't enter the private island that is privately owned. So having the bridge and taxpayers funding this for so many years with all of the updates, and now we had been, since I've been in, every 6 months we've had to have, a test run, and that's very expensive for the city.
So it's going to be privately owned.
It will be.
What's the use going to be? Just
private.
Private for what? Housing? Just somebody going to live there? They're going to have office space?
It's undecided yet. He's got a lot of ideas churning. I know from talking to him several times, and he's got a lot of good ideas. So it will be something. They're working on it. At one point in time, he was thinking of bringing some of his lighting company here, which would be a handful of jobs, which is good. There's been a talk of maybe a loft apartments or something like that. So a lot of different conversations, but I don't know that he has arrived at the one thing that he wants to do.
I ask that because sometimes, and you've seen this before, people will come here and buy buildings and then destroy them, like they did with Gilbert's. They just stripped it, and it's just sitting there ugly. Mm-hmm. I hope that doesn't happen to Salata.
I can't imagine it with this owner at all. And there's so many things he's done. He's invested a lot since he's been there in redoing everything. I think we're in good hands with this owner.
Same gentleman who owns Vincent's. He bought Vincent's.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
okay.
And he's kind of local. I mean, he grew up in Herkimer.
Yeah.
So it's not like somebody from out of state working on this.
Tony Maida.
Yes.
Right. Okay. How's the new treasurer working out? That's okay?
Yeah.
All is well?
Happy to have her. She's doing great. She was assistant branch manager and branch manager of the Adirondack banks, and I think there was another bank in there that she was involved in. Smart lady. She is definitely a manager. She knows how to make things happen. And so I think we're in really good hands there. She will be running, so everybody needs to be sure to vote for her for treasurer. She's a good lady. I'm very thankful that we have her.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
One last thing. When you think about where you started, when you took office, and what your hopes and plans were, your goals, how would you rate yourself and how well you performed?
Oh, wow.
It's always a difficult thing to do, but to rate yourself. But
I started with 3 areas of focus: public safety, and I believe we have achieved that as much as any community can. We had problems with homeless tent cities. We had all kinds of things going on, lots of drug issues. We've managed them. Are we done? No. But would I give myself a B+? Yeah, for sure. But it's through the work of Chief Thomas and the officers. They do amazing work. And every day they put up with the kind of things that no one should have to put up with. So they're doing great work. Then you look at the second thing was the financial component. We had to stabilize. We had to get that straightened out. I would give myself closer to an A in that department. It's a long way from being finished. But I've set the foundation for the next generation, and for mayors that come after me, they will have a much easier go of it. And so we've harnessed we were sinking and sinking fast. And, that particular, the financial area is one that I would say of what I've achieved, I'm most proud of the activity in that area. And then the third was economic development and business growth. And I would say we're probably at a C, but a very positive C. We are growing. The small businesses coming into our area, we had 12 last year, which is amazing. And one, the bookstore there, he's generating traffic from all over the place. And I thought bookstores were long gone, and that was something that would never see coming back. Turns out I was really wrong. People are gravitating toward it, and for the coffee shop that he has there. You cannot find a parking place there in that area most afternoons. So I'm really happy for that. Lots of good traffic. The restaurant, Toca Boca and all. I mean, a lot of good things happening. And, the new owner of Ruggerio's, he's doing an amazing job. Great food there. Open for lunch, which is a really nice treat to go have lunch there. And then you've got on Canal side, you've got Alex and her bakery, the Foxtail, awesome bakery. Lots and lots of good added to our already amazing businesses that we have there, bringing them more traffic. So I like the idea of that. We're getting development interest. I mean, talk about the Borough Building where Adirondack used to be, and some of the other things that they're interested in developing because we're in an opportunity zone. We've had the opportunity zone on our website for a long time, but nobody's really said anything about it. Now everybody's looking at them and saying, wow, this is good for investors. So we've got some programs for blighted homes with one of the key players in the Adirondack project that is all about opportunity zones and coming up with rehabbing some of our blighted homes. I've got 77 properties to turn over to him to take a look at. He did this in another small town in another state where they took them and turned them into single-family homes and sold them or leased them out. So I think that this is exactly what I've wanted to do with those that are just sitting there for year after year after year and deteriorating. So that we've still got work to do. I think there's a lot we can do, but we're starting to get on the inflection point again. We're starting to rise with regard to economic interest. And we didn't have that after COVID hit us where nothing was happening. Now we're finally back to where we were in 2019, where we had a lot of interest. It's happening again. So
I hope we gain more than we lose.
Oh, I think so.
We lost CVS.
But there's...
Berkshire Bank building is still empty.
No, they've got a buyer on that.
They do?
Yep. That closed. I'm pretty certain that closed.
For...
The guy owns restaurants and event centers for weddings and things like that. I haven't had a clear answer as to what he wants to do with it, but it is something he's very excited about, and I look forward to meeting and talking with him further. So that corner is going to be okay. CVS, I talked to Michael Burke, the owner, quite often, and he's got some good ideas, and I think he's been showing the CVS spot to some serious players. So we shall see. He has full attention on it. It's a priority of his, and we're looking at what we can do with DRI of grant funding to be able to give him some money for a roof and things like that. So a lot of activity with that. It's not just a sleeper sitting there. So
Good.
Something will happen.
Well, as usual, we covered a lot of ground.
Oh, we did.
Appreciate you doing this.
Sure, happy to
I
do
could
it
have gone
anytime.
more, but we're already well over an hour. So
I'm going to bring the budget with me next time so I can look at the line items, knowing that you're a budget hog.
Well,
I love it. It's good. Most people aren't that interested, but it's important.
well, more people should be interested. It's our city.
Yeah.
We live here. This is. I grew up here. You grew up here. I mean, I'm interested in what's happening, and that's why I ask these questions.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you doing this.
Happy to do it. Good to see you.
Thank you. That's another update from Mayor Kaufman. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.